Hi, you guys. Welcome to another episode of the Insightful Nutrition. So, if you're a new listener or a new subscriber to the podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I would like to start things off with an apology from me because I should have been uploading episodes consistently, and I have not been doing that. And I have various reasons for uploading an episode late at this time because I had a lot going on from moving from an apartment to a family house for financial reasons. And then I had to allow my sister to use her laptop that I'm using now to prepare for her lessons for her class as a teacher. So I had a lot going on. Now, I hope that you can forgive me for my transgressions if I have not announced anything, but in the next time around, I will announce on social media that I will not be publishing episodes, or there will not be any episodes at this time, so you can listen to the previous episodes when you have the time. Now, I want to get into introducing our guests, Lauren Solomon and Rachel Schwartz. Now, they are sisters. Lauren Solomon lives in South Florida, and she's a licensed clinical social worker. And Rachel Schwartz, who lives in East Meadow, New York, is a licensed master social worker. Rachel decided to create this allergy-free Facebook group in an attempt to seek support and resources for herself as she was diagnosed with issues that required avoiding gluten, dairy, and soy. In desperate need of gut healing techniques due to GERD, chronic gastritis, irritable bowel syndrome, and more, this has been the only lifestyle that seems to help manage the symptoms. With autoimmune issues, this diet has helped to reduce the widespread pain she was experiencing. As a social worker, her busy lifestyle didn't make it easy to manage this type of diet. On a whim, she started a Facebook group to get support from others, not realizing what it would become. This led her to recruiting her sister Lauren to help grow the group in what it is today with over 12,000 members. Lauren noticed that her first daughter was gassy and uncomfortable to continue breastfeeding. She cut out gluten, dairy, and soy out of her diet and was inspired by a paleo-based diet. Prior to that, there were daily Taco Bell visits and overall a very unhealthy lifestyle. Her children were thriving, her Crohn's disease almost non-existent. In 2017, her newborn was diagnosed with galactosemia, which is a very rare genetic disorder where the body cannot process galactose or milk sugar and other things. It was at that moment the diet stopped becoming optional. And became a mandatory lifestyle change in her household. After moving 1,200 miles away from her sister, Rachel jumped at the opportunity to assist her with the Facebook group. And now, without further ado, we're going to jump into the conversation with Lauren Solomon and Rachel Schwartz. Hi, ladies. How are you doing today?
Yeah, we're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us on.
I am so happy to have you guys because I was looking for Facebook groups to kind of link with to let them know that, yes, there is a support system within the podcasting industry that really caters to the food allergy niche. So I was so excited that Rachel reached out to me and said, we have contents and we have so much that we can offer to give you something to work on. I was so happy to kind of say, you know what, let's work together and let's just prove. You don't want to see my emotions. I'm really so happy to work with you guys.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure for us too. Support is our main thing, although, the diet's a big aspect, but as I'm sure we'll get into, both of us are licensed social workers. So when it comes to support and the emotional aspect of things, that's really what we value probably more than anything.
All right. So let me ask you, ladies, who is Lauren and Rachel before you came up with the Facebook group?
Okay, I guess I'll start. Well, I didn't live a healthy lifestyle growing up at all. And lots of fast food, lots of junk, not many vegetables, not many healthy foods. And then, my stomach problems were just getting worse and worse and worse. Eventually, I got tested and found that I had Crohn's disease. I just kind of kept going with the way I was going, regardless. But then I had my first child, and she was very colic, very gassy. I was determined to breastfeed. So I did my research, and I found out that there were 3 things that were the biggest causes of her gas and her colic, and that could have been dairy, gluten, and soy. So I cut it out. Not only did I cut it out, but I ripped it out of the house and restocked the whole kitchen and became a gluten, dairy, and soy-free household, which we still are to this day. She was getting older. It did help her colic. But what I did notice most of all was that with my new diet, my Crohn's disease was basically non-existent at that point. We kept the lifestyle, and then fast forward to 2017 when I had my second child. Now, my second child was born, and we found out I wanted to breastfeed. We found out that she had a very, very rare genetic disease called galactosemia. Now, what galactosemia means is that the body cannot process galactose. A lot of things have galactose, but the body may process it differently. The main thing that she couldn't have was dairy, any kind of dairy. She couldn't have breast milk. She couldn't have goat's milk. She couldn't have cow's milk. But luckily, and I feel very blessed, we were prepared for this. We were already dairy free. I couldn't imagine being a new mom and first having to get rid of all the dairy in the house. So that was kind of a blessing that I was already prepared for her. So what was a lifestyle choice became something that I had no choice about any longer. But we have maintained it ever since. And now my husband has changed to a full paleo diet. So which basically means that we've changed to a full paleo diet as well. And I have been really just finding out about all the substitutes and all the different recipes. And we really have made quite the lifestyle of it. And I'm able to make anything that I want to make. I just make it in a paleo or a dairy, gluten, soy-free version. And luckily in this day and age, 2020, there's a lot of products that assist with this versus if this would have happened 10 years ago. So I feel very blessed in my situation, and we're all just thriving off this diet. So it's been great.
Yeah. And I think, my story is kind of similar in the beginning, where it was just a hectic lifestyle. I was, going to graduate school, followed by working jobs that were absolutely insane in emergency rooms and, in acute patient clinics. And, it was nonstop. Anybody that works in the social work or a nursing field knows that it's just absolutely nonstop. And by the time I came home at night, I was like, I'm done. I'm eating my crap. I'm going to bed. And I ended up gaining the most weight that I had ever gained in my entire life. And I had several medical issues as well, without going into too much detail. Some of them are, irritable bowel syndrome, GERD, migraines, amongst other things that I've autoimmune-like issues. And I found that doing this diet immensely helped. And, the one thing that I try to get across to people, because it's so overwhelming. And had I thought to myself back then to get where I am now, where my house is free of gluten, dairy, and soy, and I'm working out daily, and I'm, doing all of these things to lead a healthy lifestyle. Had I told myself then that I had to do all of this, it would have felt impossible. But the way that I had gone about it was by, seeking the support and by taking it one step at a time. And, this all really began for me one day laying, next to my husband and turning to him and I was just thinking to myself that I really wanted to look into this diet. And I know there's so many different, Facebook groups out there. So I was like, you know what, let me just try to make this, even if a couple people join, it'll be good. It was kind of selfish intentions at first of, I need the support. I need to get on my feet. So starting with a measly 7 members for quite a while there. And, what it's grown into now, we're over 12,000. And I just, I cannot even believe what this has turned into.
Could you tell me a little bit about your employment history?
Yeah.
I am a licensed clinical social worker. I have my bachelor's in psychology and my master's degree in social work from Yeshiva University, the Schwartz School of Social Work in Manhattan, Washington Heights, Manhattan. Sure, I've worked with a whole array of different people, from adults to children, the elderly, you name it. And then once I moved to Florida, about going on 9 years now, I've been in the nursing homes mainly, and now I'm in a private practice where I do all kinds of counseling for anxiety and mental illness and marriage counseling, and mostly I'm a stay-at-home mom now, full time.
Yeah. And for me, it's similar path. I got my bachelor's in psychology and my master's in social work. Shout out to Adelphi University in New York. And basically, I went on to work in several places, including emergency rooms and acute care facilities where I had people straight out of inpatient units, doing kind of the day programs there. And then I moved on to what I do now, which is actually crisis intervention, which actually has proven helpful to have this knowledge in regards to, health and taking care of yourself, because I have so many callers that call in, and their main struggle is that they are struggling. They got diagnoses, they're struggling on, what to do next and how to take care of themselves and how to manage their diets. And, of course, I one thing that me and Lauren are both very similar on is we do not ever push this diet on anybody who doesn't ask us for our thoughts on it. We never pretend to be doctors or scientists on this. We, appreciate all the different diets out there. This has all just been our personal research, our personal, the understandings that we've come to, and trial and error with our own bodies, and that, we found this diet works the best for us. But it's really great knowledge to have, and the group has just absolutely helped us to get to where we are.
We have learned so much from our members. I mean, so much from our members. We with the group. Can I go into the group a little bit? I know you asked a specific question. Do you mind if I go about the group a little bit?
Sure, why not? Because I was going to ask you, how did you come up with the Facebook group? I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so that one's actually my department. I, like I was saying, I was really struggling to get my act together personally, and I had looked into this, and I was actually told by my doctor about the autoimmune protocol. But as I'm sure a lot of our members and people that deal with, food intolerances and allergies can relate to, doctors kind of send you an EpiPen, send you a piece of paper telling you what stuff to avoid, and send you on your way. And you're kind of left to fend for yourself. And, for me, that was extremely overwhelming and felt impossible with my schedule and everything that I had going on personally. So I had thought to myself, let me create a Facebook group where, we can get support from one another. I can get some recipes and ideas. So one night I had just sat with my husband and we had created this group. And it started with just a couple of members trickling in here and there. And just, I think it's been about 3 years at this point, if I'm not mistaken, Lauren. And we are now over 12,000 members. And what this group has become is just absolutely incredible. I'll let Lauren go a little bit into that.
Well, Rach, remember when we used to get excited that 7 members would join a day?
Yes.
Now most days I wake up in the morning to like 15 member requests. It's crazy.
Yeah, at least.
But a little bit about the group. Once we started to get these requests rolling in, we both decided we didn't want to be like any other group. We wanted to be super specific. We wanted to treat every member as if it was their first day in this new lifestyle. And therefore, we are super strict. We fine-tooth comb every single post that is submitted to us, and we read the ingredients. My brother-in-law, Rachel's husband, is a moderator, and he helps us as well. So it's just the 3 of us going through these posts. And what we look for is the ingredients, and if an ingredient that's inappropriate is listed for the group specifically, that there's an alternative listed as well within the ingredient. If not, we do not approve the post. The other thing that this group does that makes it different than other groups is every single recipe that is submitted, I should say that we welcome blogs. We welcome these people who are on the same page as us and want to spread this diet and help people. So we welcome these blogs, but what we do is when people post a recipe, we have also created a Pinterest page specific to the group, and we save every single recipe onto that Pinterest page so that you can access it whenever you want if you follow our boards. And we also, just to ensure that there's at least one recipe posted a day, every morning I post when I wake up a recipe of the day. It's not as necessary as it was once upon a time ago because recipes are flowing in like crazy. But just to be sure that at least one recipe is posted a day, I make sure I post a recipe of the day every day. But we do welcome all support and questions and comments as well in our group. You want to talk a little bit about how it became a support group, Rach?
Well, yeah, I'm, just going a little bit into what she was saying. The reason that we are so strict is because some of our members can't have all 3, whether it be gluten, dairy, or soy. Some members can only not have 1 or 2. But the reason that we're so strict is because we want all of our recipes to apply to every single member. So that's why we only approve anything that has, the omission of all 3. So that way people can just freely go through and they're able to use any of the recipes. And when it comes to whoever posts, and we're so grateful for our members posting, I mean, they really keep the group alive. And with that being said, we really try to acknowledge all posts. Whenever we approve it, half the reason that we have to approve it is so that we can be, the first one to write and make them feel welcome and make them feel like part of the group. And we really do our best to try to monitor all of the comments and make sure that everybody feels welcome. Any sort of negativity, we really try to moderate immediately. We really wanted it to be an open space where, it's hard enough having to deal with what they're experiencing, whether it be stomach issues or skin problems or depression or muscle and joint pain or brain fog or
to change their whole lifestyle.
Exactly. So we really want this to be a community where they can come and they just feel so supported and they feel like, oh my God, look at this Pinterest page. They're basically handing the diet to me.
I wanted to ask the question, how did you go about promoting the group? But you basically answered the question already. Why did you want to start creating the Facebook group?
Yeah, so I think it was just the realization that, we both had really busy lives, whether it be being a mother, being a social worker, whatever it was, trying to maintain our own health, and realizing that there was such limited support. As I touched on before with the doctor, I remember when I first sat in the doctor's office talking to them about my allergies or my intolerances, and they handed me a piece of paper of stuff to avoid, an EpiPen, and sent me on my way. And I was so lost and confused. And I thought, let's create this group where we can catch those people walking out of that doctor's office that are feeling so alone and so overwhelmed. And let's make this a little bit easier and make them feel like they have people to support them through this huge transition.
Another reason we're so strict is because, like I mentioned briefly, before, it's day one for them. Some people don't even understand that milk. I'm not judging. I'm empathizing. Some people don't understand day one that milk is dairy, that cheese is dairy. And by being so strict with this group, if it's your very first day, your doctor just sprung the news that he recommends you cutting out these things in your diet, you can come to us and you can trust our page that whatever you go to is appropriate for you and your diet. On top of that, I try to stick, when I post the recipes of the day, I try to stick with paleo and autoimmune paleo diet recipes, because I do recognize the fact that a lot of our members also cannot have many other things, eggs and peanuts and the list goes on and on and on. So we do try to, even though we're specific on the three, we do try, and vegans, we have a lot of vegans. So we do try to cater to everybody and at least offer recipes to everybody. We have learned a lot from this group. We have learned about autoimmune diseases, Hashimoto's, and I was suffering from eczema, which is gone now basically because of this diet, but and just all kinds of things. So we have learned a massive amount, and who knew when she started this group that we would get so educated off of our members. Not only our members getting educated off of the group. They say the best way to learn is to teach, and we're learning and we're teaching. So it's just been great.
And, feeding off what she's saying, we have members that are so lost that they'll, post ingredients of a product and ask to the group, hey, is this okay? And like, we encourage those posts. We want everybody to learn. We want everybody to learn together. And I'm sure there's other people wondering if that product is okay as well. But, what we give, makes our group different from the other groups is that we do have that luxury of being social workers, of being trained, mental health specialists, and having so much experience with counseling and crisis intervention, because, we have these parents coming and their child is getting these rashes and they got these horrible diagnoses, or, they've been sick to their stomachs and nobody's, understanding that, all of these symptoms that they're experiencing are from what they're eating, or, just the overwhelming frustration that they're feeling from trying to get this down. And, me and Lauren have both had countless members message us privately for that added support. And, although the diet thing is something we're all learning together, and yes, after, several years of doing this research, I like to believe I have it all down. Once again, I'm never going to sit here and say I'm a doctor, a scientist, or a specialist by any means. But I have found what works for me. And, but when it comes to the mental health stuff and the counseling and the support, that's the one edge that we have over these other groups.
It's great because it's international. We have people from all over the world, and we learn about products in the UK, and the UK learns about products in the US, and Jamaica learns about products, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just been wonderful to make all these new friends and know that we're helping so many people. The messages come flooding in some days where they are thanking us and how much the group has helped them. And we have really devoted our time to this group. We have been busy cooking in our kitchens and developing new recipes, which we're saving up our sleeves for hopefully maybe a YouTube channel or something soon enough. But for now, we are so busy running this group because, like I said, it's just three of us going through these posts. We do contests, and so for now, we just want to make sure that we're helping as many people as we possibly can with the resources that we have.
Tell me, ladies, what were your personal, professional, and financial struggles?
Yeah. So, it's interesting when you say the financial struggle portion, because I think that, a lot of our members kind of recognize that as well. Like even when I was first starting out, I had originally gone to the market and I could buy so much food and I just kind of threw whatever in the cart and I did whatever. And, At first, when I first started going to Whole Foods or going to these specialty markets, I ended up spending a lot more because I didn't really know what I was doing correctly. And, I know a lot of people, one of their main fears is that when they go to these markets or when they try to do these specialty diets, that it's going to cost them so much money. But the truth is that there are ways to manage it. I mean, most weeks, me and my husband are now spending less than we ever did when we were eating crap before. It's really just about finding the products that work for you, getting the best bang for your buck, and learning how to navigate the market. It's, I always say to people when they say that it's hard to adjust to this diet, I understand, yes, it definitely is, but you didn't come out of the womb learning how to make meatballs and spaghetti or learning how to make pizza. You have to learn how to make these recipes, how to work with these ingredients, and then it becomes second nature, just like all of those old ingredients were to you.
Now, it's been a struggle financially, especially in the beginning. We're in a different place now than we were 3-4 years ago when the group started and when the diet started. But I do spend a fortune on groceries. I will be honest. I've had to cut down on a lot of other things that I buy because of how expensive the groceries are. But that's mostly because my children can eat me out of house and home.
Yeah, my niece can eat.
She can eat, and all I hear all day is snack, have a snack. So snacks are expensive, I've been trying to I made homemade potato chips the other day. I'm making homemade, whatever I can make homemade, I try to, but thank goodness I could find at my local Whole Foods, things that I don't have to cook and things I could just grab while I'm cooking their next meal, which is basically the theme of my life. I use all fresh ingredients, and it's hard because when you use all fresh ingredients like produce, it goes bad fast. So that's a challenge that I'm trying to tackle, and I'm trying to, ration what I need better. That's something I need to work on. But yeah, it is an expensive diet for me, mostly because of the kids, and I make the most of it best I can. We budget as necessary.
I haven't heard about Rachel's struggles.
Oh, yeah, no, I was talking in the beginning. I was saying about how, at first it was expensive shopping at the different market, but then
you were the one talking about the shopping.
Yes, exactly.
I know, we sound a lot alike.
We do sound alike. We're like, we get that
you
all
sound
the time.
alike. That's, yeah.
We get that all the time.
I haven't heard about any personal, professional struggles.
Yeah, so I think professionally, for me, my biggest struggle was just in our field. Nowadays I'm so lucky and blessed, especially with everything going on at the moment, to have a job where I work from home, because that has made it increasingly easier for me to manage this diet. However, prior to that, I was just like many of our members, where I had such a hectic schedule working, overtime as a therapist. I was seeing more than 40 clients a week. I mean, it was insane. There were some days I didn't even remember to go to the bathroom, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So managing that schedule with trying to manage this diet really felt absolutely impossible. So, doing this group was very helpful because I had learned about, freezing certain meals, or I would make things in bulk and then I would bring them, or, learning different things that I could bring in a hot thermos and have with me that day, or learning about the things if I was absolutely in a pinch that I could have, that were gluten, dairy, and soy free, or, those kinds of things. It was really, but I think in the beginning with the hectic schedule and with not being home a lot and with having very little time to get to the market, it was extremely hard to maneuver.
Yes, for me, I was director of 3 nursing homes. The last one I was director of social services was a 220 bedded facility. I had at least 10 staff under me, including master degree students, level students. Eating was not really something I had time to think about. And it affected me. It affected my weight. People think that not eating helps you lose weight. That's not true at all. Your metabolism has to be triggered constantly throughout the day.
And then when you finally stop for a second, you want to eat everything in sight.
Right. Well, that's the other thing, right? Because then you eat yourself to sleep at night. So I needed to have healthy snacks to do so. But, now I don't really I have more time at home, but I don't have more time in general. I still don't, the kids are the priority. So I don't really have the time to think about what I'm making for lunch or what I'm going to have to snack on.
And I think, Lauren, tell me if you agree that, so many products now, because more and more people are coming out with these allergies, that there are so many products at places like, Whole Foods and Fairway and Trader Joe's, and so many places are trying to make all of these products now that really do fit this mold. And, I know my freezer is full. So on a night when I don't have time, when I got off work late or I had to cover a shift, whatever it may be, I have some of these frozen cauliflower pizzas that I got at Trader Joe's, or my broccoli and spinach ones. And, I throw a little bit of sauce on it with my fake cheese, and it's 1, 2, 3, and it's super easy.
I can tell you my husband struggles. He became paleo at the end of December, and he has lost 45 pounds without working out, just from the paleo diet. He works a lot, and he's on the road when he works. He works in his car mostly, so going place to place. He assists mostly the elderly get aids in the home or find places to live when they can't live on their own anymore because of health reasons. So I have to prepare for him enough stuff in the fridge and buy enough stuff for him to grab and go, because he's intermittent fasting on this paleo diet, and he eats from 12 to 8 a day. So some of my go-tos are like hard-boiled eggs. Oh, we go through eggs like you can't imagine. Lots of hard-boiled eggs. There are companies like, I have to shout out to Simple Mills. Simple Mills has a lot of paleo-friendly options, including Daya. Well, Daya is not paleo for him specifically, but yes, Daya is definitely an option. But the ones that say paleo-friendly, and more, like just being able to give him some apricots, some freeze-dried fruits, hard-boiled eggs, the paleo crackers from Simple Mills. Nuts, lots of nuts, not legumes. He can't have like peanuts or any of that, but he could have almonds, and he could have cashews. So it's just about navigating his new diet. But to lose 45 pounds in like 3-4 months, I'm very proud of him, but it's all because of the diet, and he's felt better. He's had more energy. His snoring, he's not snoring anymore. So that's been good for me. But in general, it's just about navigating, when you're in your profession and don't have time, how to just be able to ration snacks and pack enough snacks to be able to get through the day. He's supposed to have 5 to 6 small meals a day on this diet, and somehow we've been managing that pretty well. So we've been good.
Going further into, the personal stuff, I think a lot of what was happening when I wasn't taking care of myself was, having this dragging feeling, this lack of energy, depressed mood, brain fog, not even wanting to get out of bed in the morning. And it made everything feel impossible, whether it be managing this diet, managing my job, whatever it was. And, when I'm doing this diet perfectly, those things are just gone. They're just so well managed, and it's just given me so much more energy to be able to keep up with everything. I'm now at the point where I just bought a bunch of stuff to build a greenhouse in my backyard and start growing stuff myself. It's like too much energy at this point. So that's the thing, when people feel, because I was there, that's one major takeaway that I want people to hear. I was there. I had these stomach issues. I was in the doctor every week. I was anxious, depressed, wanting to sleep all the time, coming home from work, saying I'm too tired, going to bed, ordering crap, ordering pizza, whatever it was. And I, if somebody had told me back then to do what I do today, I would have been like, get away from me. I don't have time for that. But that's the thing. Cutting yourself a little bit of slack, taking it step by step, learning each individual step, and slowly, get comfortable with one thing before you move on to the next thing. I didn't get here overnight. This is over 3 years now of me trying to get this diet, under wraps and get it all together, that I've gotten to this point.
Lauren, I would just like to say congratulations to your husband for losing 45 pounds. I know
Thank you.
it's not easy. It is not easy especially for a man to lose a lot of pounds, and he's going through a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of
Sorry
stuff.
about that. I say congratulations to him. I know it took a lot of effort for him to reach that point, but I say congratulations to him, and he should keep it up. And thank you so much for the snoring remedy, because I tend to snore a lot, and I never knew that had to do with snoring. I never knew.
Yeah. Diet and being overweight could have a lot to do with snoring. When he started to lose the weight, the snoring just went less and less. And now I haven't been woken up, and I can't remember the last time. So it's been good for me too.
Now, I want to talk about the coronavirus. How does the coronavirus affect your life, your everyday routine in any way?
Yeah. So for me personally, even aside, well, it does go into the diet too, but starting, professionally, as I mentioned before, I now work as a crisis counselor. So usually, the calls that I would get were around, horrible things that people went through, whether it be suicidal ideation or homicidal, motives, or, domestic violence, child abuse. I mean, the stuff that I had to, guide people through was heart-wrenching, honestly. But now, ever since this virus has come out, I have to tell you, just about every single phone call I take is in regards to this virus, whether it be, they're stuck, they have to work, they're an essential employee and they're so scared of getting the virus, or they can't locate, the proper medication or food that they need for themselves, or one of their loved ones has it and is stuck in the hospital and they're unable to see them, or, they're so worried about their children being stuck at home and teaching them properly, or, I've had several nurses calling me, just breaking down in the middle of their shifts or after their shifts. And shout out to all of the medical staff and people that are throwing themselves on the front line of this right now, because I don't know what we would do without all of you, honestly. It's absolutely insane. And then by the time I get off of work, I have, a group chat with my friends where we're talking about it all day, or, my family wants to talk about it all day. Because we have family members that have medical issues that are susceptible to, the more adverse effects of this. So it's causing me a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. And, on top of that, we've been trying to avoid going to the markets at all costs. So I'm trying, overtime I'm like literally sitting there refreshing my Instacart every 20 minutes to see if a slot opens so that I can get the food I need to continue feeding, myself and my husband according to this diet. Luckily, I was one of the people that, people called me crazy, and I took this serious from day one. And I'm so blessed that I did, because I really started, I don't want to say loading up, because I definitely didn't steal all the toilet paper like some people have. But every time I went to the market, I grabbed, a couple of extra things, and, so we're okay for now, but it's been hard and anxiety provoking to think about how to get this stuff. And I mean, for myself, I do this diet because it helps me to feel a little bit less like crap, to get my stomach under control and my mood under control, and think a little clearer. But, there's so many of our members and other people out there that have severe allergies, and they have no choice. They can't even say, hey, I'm willing to feel like crap today, let me just eat this. They don't have that choice. So they have to go, above and beyond and really try to figure this out right now and most of that is due to underlying health concerns. So they're probably freaking out about getting this virus because of those concerns, not wanting to go to the markets and having to manage these diets. So, shout out to whoever is doing that, because you are a superhero to yourself and your family right now.
Before I go into how it's affected me, because I actually have a lot to say about that, it has affected me greatly. I do have to mention that my sister single-handedly fed the entire COVID unit for 2 full days at one of the busiest hospitals in New York.
Not single-handedly. I got a bunch. I have to tell you, so many restaurants and people were willing to donate. That was not single-handedly, but I appreciate the shout out.
She really went above and beyond. I cry thinking about it. I just can't, because she has really, these nurses, they don't have time to stop and eat. They don't have time to eat even think about what they want for lunch or dinner, or they're working 16, 17, 18, 19-hour shifts. And my sister took it upon herself to tackle that and at least feed them for 2 full days. And I'm just so proud of her. But let me go into...
It really restored my humanity, my faith in humanity, how many people reached out to help me with that, and how many restaurants not only provided the food but donated extra. And it really restores your faith in humanity when you put something like that out there and so many people reach out to help. But go into what you were going to say, Laura.
So COVID-19 has affected my family greatly. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old girls. They are both one is in a public VPK program at an elementary school, and the other is in a private preschool, and they don't have school. Their routine is completely changed. I'm homeschooling them. My oldest, my 5-year-old, super advanced. So even the work that's given to us she's past that. So it's a struggle trying to find what's going to stimulate her. My youngest, my 3-year-old, seems to be affected the most. She has regressed in her potty training significantly. She has not wanted to do much. I'm trying as best I can, but I have 2 kids to manage. One can't get enough worksheets and work to do, and the other doesn't want to do anything. So that's been a challenge. But we haven't left the house at all. As far as groceries are concerned, I try to order, and then I sit outside and I wipe them down with the Clorox before I even bring them in. All the fruits and veggies go right into the sink where I soak them in organic white vinegar and water. So that has taken up a lot of time, because when I do get groceries, I get a lot of groceries. And luckily, the farms around here in Florida are doing $10 boxes of produce. You get a lot of produce. We bought $40, 2 boxes from 2 farms, and it was just so much produce. So I have been making paleo eggplant parmesan. Tonight I made paleo stuffed peppers. I made pickles. I made chips. We made ice cream from frozen bananas. Dairy-free ice cream, paleo ice cream from frozen bananas, some almond milk, some cocoa powder.
I saw you went on a frenzy there, Laura.
I went on a frenzy, but I don't want it to go bad, So, but I won't go out. I won't even go to the market. I either get through Shipt or through Prime Delivery from Whole Foods. But my friend also, she does Shipt, so she has been getting my groceries for me. I won't even let her in the house. I apologize to her. If she's listening, I apologize, Allison. But she goes and she gets me, I send her my list and she gets it for me. And then when she leaves, I sit outside and I take my Clorox wipes and I wipe everything down and it's hard. It's hard to get groceries, to be honest with you.
Near impossible.
And I've been with the kids every single day since March 11th, without a break. And it's definitely taking a toll on me to keep the diet, to make sure we have the groceries, to homeschool the kids, to keep the house clean. It's as I'm vacuuming, they're behind me making a mess as I'm vacuuming. So it's just the whole thing's been tough on the family for sure.
And we're lucky to be young and healthy, during quote unquote during all of this. So I shout out to the people that are elderly, that have these pre-existing conditions, that are probably so anxious and worried. And, one wonderful thing that my sister did on the group actually was she made a post and she said, all right, cut the crap. Let's just be real here. How's everybody dealing with this? And people really latched onto it and really wanted that support, because everything is just so difficult right now. And, my heart goes out to those nurses and the doctors and the people that are on the front lines in the hospital. But we can't forget about, the garbage men that are going out and risking themselves, the mailmen that are touching packages. I
The
have
janitors
working at restaurants, working at electrical wards, working in vitamin shops, working everywhere they are equally putting themselves at risk to keep this country going. And
the ship shoppers, the Instacart shoppers, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and the EMTs and fire department and policemen. I mean, the list goes on and on, honestly. I mean, you guys are all
dudes and Grubhub and Uber Eats and God bless all of you.
We are so grateful, and our group would help any way that we possibly can.
And disclosure, we celebrate Passover, so that was a huge hurdle that had to be jumped here because we are doing a Zoom Passover.
Virtual Passover, yes.
Yes, we're doing a Zoom Passover with Rachel and I and my parents and a couple of other guests, my cousin, and we are kosher for Passover in my house. So it was a challenge. We did find a restaurant was willing to give us the 8 days of kosher meals. We do have to kosher the kitchen tomorrow before Passover starts and get rid of all the chametz. Shout out to everyone who celebrates Passover. We're getting rid of all the chametz, and then we're going to pick up the food on Tuesday before the Seder. So that was a fortune, but it is going to be, see, the thing about a paleo diet is it's already kosher for Passover.
Yep.
So there's not much changes that need to be made in that aspect, but it's not going to be like the sit down full Seder that I've had my whole life, every year of my life. So, but I wouldn't have had a Seder with my family. And I guess because of this virus and luckily thankful for Zoom, I'm actually going to have a Seder with my family in New York this year. So that's a blessing. And we got to look on the bright side here.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, that was a lot to talk about. That was a lot to talk about with the coronavirus. And when the coronavirus stepped in, everything has stopped.
Yeah.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been insane because
Your
it's not
basic
only
routine has
about
changed. The family routine has changed. The social life has changed. Everything has changed.
Everything.
It's not only worrying about yourself, it's worrying about all the people that you love and, people big and small that have, pre-existing conditions that don't. And, but one thing that I've really noticed is, of course you're hearing all the bad stuff out there and bad things that people are doing. But most of what I'm seeing are people gathering together and fundraising to send food to hospitals, to send food to EMTs, to provide support to one another and everybody Zooming each other and having happy hours and everybody just coming together in every way possible and sharing when they find toilet paper in a store or posting funny memes for some comedic relief. And, it's very nice to see that when we really need it, everybody comes together.
Yeah. Yeah. We have someone making masks. My husband works with the elderly and he's getting COVID calls every day that luckily they're going home because they're stable, but it's very hard to find an aide that's going to work with them and take care of them, and their family's not allowed to fly in. So that's been quite the struggle. But we have somebody in my community that's making masks so we could bring them to our aides in assisted living facilities. We sent some food over to some aides and some nurses in some of the facilities today. I collected some donations for that. We can't forget the little guys. That's the thing. The hospitals definitely need our help, but there are a lot of places that are smaller mom and pop places that take care of these elderly people that just aren't getting the same kind of resources that the hospitals and the bigger nursing homes and the bigger assisted livings are getting.
Yeah. And another thing that I just want to point out for everybody in relation to the COVID is, like I said before, my sister and I are both social workers, and we have posted it on our own public forums, and many people have actually taken us up on it, surprisingly so. And when it comes to leading a healthy lifestyle, whether it be your diet or working out or managing a pandemic going on globally, mental health is a huge portion of that. So if anybody needs that added support or somebody to talk to, don't be afraid to reach out to our group support. We that's our number one thing that we love doing.
Oh, yes, about anything too. Honestly,
Yeah.
Rachel and I, whether it's about diet or whether it's about just any struggle, I could tell you wholeheartedly that my sister and I want to help. We want to help everybody that needs help. And we're here for anybody who wants to contact us. No judgment, confidential. Just come to us. We're here. We want to help as many people while we're here on this planet as we possibly can.
Thank you so much for that, ladies. We're going to go into the quick roundup section where I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to answer the first or second thing that comes to your mind.
Oh,
Are you ready,
okay.
ladies?
Let's brace ourselves.
Are you ready, ladies?
Yes.
Now, give a strategy that has helped you manage stress.
Ooh.
For me, I have to do something physical once a day, even if it's for only 20 minutes. I will even if it's just going for a brisk walk or doing some jumping jacks or something like that. I have to, for my mental health, for my physical health, I have to be doing at least something. So I don't, I know a lot of people get really into fitness, and don't get me wrong, there's days where I kick my butt doing, workouts. But if I'm feeling a little bit down one day, I won't give into it. I force myself to at least do 20 minutes of walking on the treadmill or something.
For me, I haven't been because it's closed, but I do kickboxing 3 times a week. Right now, to deal with stress, I try to go outside and get fresh air and remember my breathing and my mindfulness activities and my meditation. But usually when COVID is not around, I do kickboxing 3 times a week, and that has been everything.
Tell me your favorite food.
Oh, you know what? I'm a sucker for Italian, and I did not give it up on this diet. I just made it tonight. It was all, I made eggplant parmesan. It was all gluten, dairy, and soy free with my follow your heart mozzarella cheese. I made some
That's what I did yesterday, right?
Yep, tomato sauce. I did eggplant battered in almond flour. And my husband was licking the bowl.
For me, I have 2. You'll like my second one, Nicole, I think. But my first one is sushi. Always sushi, sushi, sushi. I could eat sushi every day. But my second one is oxtail. I love oxtail.
Yeah, she's a lot more adventurous than I am.
Yeah, I realize that, very adventurous with food. Tell me, what app has helped you with managing your budget or finances?
See, Nicole, I'm really lucky. I married an accountant, so he takes care of that. I believe he uses Excel.
Smart man.
Yes, I knew that my strong suit was helping people and his was numbers. I knew who to marry.
We hired a financial advisor, so that has been it's a friend of ours. So that has really helped us significantly.
What's your favorite dream trip?
Oh, my dream trip is actually to go to Israel and Italy, both of which I have planned in the near future. And I'm really hoping that I get to go because I actually just conquered my fear of flying after 28 years of not being on a plane for the first time in February. And I planned all of these trips, and now this happened. So please, everybody, pray that I am able to go on my trips.
Yes. Yes, she just conquered her fear of flying, which I'm so proud of her about. For me, I have been to numerous countries now, but I took my dream trip. My dream trip was, the dream trip I've had is Bolivia and Peru, where I saw, I'm kind of an ancient alien fanatic, my husband and I. So right before we decided to have kids, we went to all the ancient alien sites, but not the typical ones. We went to like Pumapuku and Tiwanaku and
Yeah,
the
my sister loves her
Stargate
aliens.
and the Nazca lines. But my next dream trip is supposed to happen, God willing, on our 10-year wedding anniversary, which is coming up in a year. And I have to go to the Giraffe Hotel in Kenya. I have to. Giraffes are my favorite animal, and I want to be eating breakfast with them as soon as possible in Kenya.
Tell me your morning routine.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, for me, see, again, I'm lucky with working from home. I literally roll out of bed, I start up my computer, I go brush my teeth, clean myself up, and I actually heat myself. This is important to the diet. I actually heat myself up chicken broth. Either my husband will make it using the beef bones in our Instant Pot, or I usually get the brand from Trader Joe's, which is closed right now, but it's my absolute favorite. It's like the most pure. It doesn't really have anything else in it. Very, very limited, just spices in the beef bone broth. And it's so good. And that's actually my coffee because I don't drink coffee.
No, me neither.
So that's probably the most important part of my day is my bone broth in the morning.
For me, it's a little more complicated because I have 2 preschoolers. I wake up, I give the dog her medicine, and then I start cooking breakfast. My daughters get blackberry, blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries in the morning. With my youngest gets her maple and brown sugar gluten-free oatmeal with almond milk in it, and my oldest gets a hard-boiled egg. And then they get their crackers or their gluten, dairy, soy-free granola bars. And then I brush their teeth, get them dressed, the whole mom stuff.
How do you find a balance between home and work?
Oh, see, that's extremely difficult because, as I said a bunch of times, my home is my work. So it's really difficult for me. Sometimes I'll find that when I get a break, I'll have to go outside and go for a walk and kind of try to separate it. Before, when me and my husband were in a 1-bedroom apartment, I literally was working in the room where I was sleeping. So it was not a healthy situation. Now, thankfully we're blessed. We had bought a house before all this madness started and I have my own office. So I try to separate it. I work until I work and then I don't go in the office again. So this is kind of like my work area and that's it. It's difficult though, especially I think Lauren can relate as social workers. Some of the stories that I hear, it's not easy for me to just leave work and not take them home with me. Unfortunately, I do have that severe empathetic gene. And when somebody tells me this heart-wrenching story, not to mention it's confidential, so I can't really share it with anybody. And then I'm just left, okay, go on about your day. And sometimes it's just not that easy. So I'll have to do something to unwind, whether it be taking a shower or de-stressing or working out or watching something funny. And that's not to deter people from reaching out for help because I live for it. When I'm able to help somebody even a little bit, or help them to help themselves, it is literally what I live for in this world. And anybody who knows me will tell you that. But sometimes it gets very intense, some of the stories that I hear, and I just need to, find things to kind of unwind afterwards.
As far as I go, so I work 1 night a week, and the reason I can only work 1 night a week, I work in the private practice. I have a few patients I've had for years and years, and I work 1 night a week because my husband often has a lot of networking events, so he has to work late a lot of nights, and because of that, I don't have childcare. I don't have any family by me that can help me in really any way. So it's me. So my occupational situation is that, I get to work when my husband can watch the kids. I did take on a student this year, a graduate student from FAU, and she was wonderful, totally born to do this. And so I was able to schedule that around the kids' school schedule. But if one of them or both of them are off from school, they have to come with me to the office and play while I talk to my student in a room. So there's been some obstacles. But yes, I would say another occupational hazard is just like Rachel said, bringing it home with you. I have some patients that are very heavy and I'm able to relate to so much. And it's very hard, but the marriage counseling I do has really helped me in my own life for sure. I learned so much from my patients. And so much, I really try to take my own advice sometimes, which is hard for a therapist to do, actually. We know what to say, we know what advice to give, but we can't always apply it to our own lives.
Amen.
But I've really tried to do that for my life. And what would I tell my patient? What would I tell my daughter? What would I want my daughter to do in this situation? And things like that. But one of the occupational hurdles that I have is just the schedule and being the main caregiver for the house and for the kids, and finding time to be able to go to the office and be there fully for my patients.
Yeah, and just one more thing in regards to this, I need to give a huge shout out to my husband, actually. He works from home as well, and he's always complaining, that he doesn't feel like he helps people to the same extent that I do. And I always explain to him, he has gotten very good at realizing that because of HIPAA, I am not allowed to tell him a thing. But if I come out of this room with tears or with a face on, he comes up, he hugs me, doesn't ask any questions, helps me to unwind, calming me down, doing deep breathing, telling me funny stories, whatever it is. And he doesn't realize how much he's helping me to then go and help other people. So I got to give him a huge shout out also for helping me to manage some of the stories that I hear.
Now, could you give some advice as to how to take precaution of the coronavirus right now?
Stay home.
Yeah. So of course, once again, we're not doctors, we're not scientists, and I by no means am going to sit here and pretend that I'm a specialist, but I can tell you what I've been doing, which is I am staying home. I am washing my hands nonstop.
Yes.
Any package,
Don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face as much as possible. Any package or food stuff that comes to the house, I leave it at the door for a little bit, and then I go outside with Clorox, I wipe it all down, put it away, and then I wash my hands. If I step outside for a walk or whatever it may be, wearing my mask, I will then come back and I will throw my clothes right into the wash. You just can't take any chances. I know, everybody thinks that they're stronger than this virus, but as we can see by the numbers growing every single day, we are not. And people are not realizing that, going to see your friend, whether you're 6 feet apart or not, is not a safe bet. There are people who are giving it to each other without even realizing it. It doesn't take much to spread a virus.
Right.
So my recommendation is, none of us are enjoying this. I want baseball. I am a diehard Yankees fan.
Oh, yes.
This is
Baseball.
killing me.
Bring back baseball.
Yes. So my number one thing is, I truly believe that if we all just listen and really listen, and except for our wonderful essential employees, but if they go home after and we all just stay home as much as possible, this is going to go down a lot quicker and we can all have that summer that we're looking forward to.
It's hard because, I see a lot of people in gatherings and having people over and just not understanding exactly what they should be doing. I don't know if it's that they're being defiant or don't care or whatever the case may be. My sister and I have personally been affected by COVID and have our own personal worries with sick relatives and people dying that have affected us personally. Even just the other day, my mom's best friend of 40 years, her mother just passed away from COVID. All my rabbis' families are passing away one by one. All our patients are passing away or in ICU or coming home.
People aren't realizing these people in the hospital, they're not able to have visitors. They're not able to have full funerals when they do pass. People aren't realizing how morbid this is. There are ice trucks. I have friends that work at hospitals. There are literally ice trucks outside of these hospitals acting as morgues because they don't have the room to house the bodies that they are losing. This is not a joke.
People are making it less than it is. And once upon a time I did that also, until I started knowing one person with it, two people with it, three people with it, four people with it, five people with it, six people with it. This one died. This one's on a ventilator. This one. And eventually as of weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago or more, I realized how serious this was. And it's just stay home. We're lucky to have Zoom. We started a nightly quarantine poker league. Rachel and I are two of the 5 founding people of the poker league, and it's been really busy. We do things like Zoom Cards Against Humanity games and Zoom cocktail hours, and we take walks around the block and do scavenger hunts with the kids.
There's something called Tabletopia now, where you can actually play board games with people online too.
I've been to a lot of countries, and in this scenario here, people that I've met from all the other countries are reconnecting with me and checking on me, and vice versa. My friends in Italy, my friends in Peru, my friends in Israel, my friends all over the world we're reconnecting where we haven't spoken to each other in a while. And even like I feel closer to my family in New York. I feel closer to some of my friends because of these cocktail hours and because of these games, and where people say that this is affecting our how we're socializing. I think it's increased my socialization and improved it. And it's just about how you make it work. It's just about taking the good with the bad and making the best of a bad situation. But in order to save people's lives, you have to stay home. Even to go to the grocery store is ridiculous. If you have internet and you have data, you are able to order these things online, and we don't need to keep going out, and we don't need to keep, the people who really need to go out are the people who are not privy to the internet, like the older people who are more at risk. So if you are able to order these things online and you're able to Amazon Prime it and all that stuff, then that's what you should be doing. Stay home.
I think the truth is a lot of people think, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm not going to pass from this. Look at the stats. There's not that many people dying. Yes, and all due respect, that's fine. And some people are like, let the elderly and compromised stay home. But if we're all roaming around, passing it back and forth, to what end are they staying home? Then they're just going to permanently be stuck at home, because it's never going to end if we do that. I understand some people think they could beat this, even though there's healthy and young people passing away from this every day. But people think that they can beat this, and that's fine, but don't make that decision for everybody. And I think the one thing that me and my sister definitely want to say is that we hope our members and everybody stay safe. And if you do get sick, you take the proper steps and you stay home and you inform the right people and you take care of yourself and you get well soon. And we are sending good vibes and well wishes to everybody listening.
All right. I would like for you to tell me and the listeners some tips on how to deal with children with food allergies at this time.
Lauren, I'll let you lead that one.
Okay. Well, I definitely had to master it. Thank goodness my oldest is so smart and so able to just understand information like I could have never wished for. So she understands her little sister has galactosemia. She understands that dairy will give her a stomach ache. From a very young age, she was already asking people who are handing her things to eat, is this dairy free? Is there artificial coloring in it? I mean, she was just so great from the get-go. So with her, I haven't really had a struggle, but it's been great. Her friends have pizza. I pack her pizza. I pack her Daya, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free pizzas. She wants mac and cheese. Daya makes that too. She wants ice cream. They're so delicious. She wants whatever she wants. We're very blessed with that. It's not as hard as it used to be. But my struggle was that the preschool that my kids were in and my youngest is currently in is a kosher preschool that's also, it's a dairy preschool. There's no meat allowed. So I've really just done a schedule where Monday is a veggie burger, Tuesday is the Daya mac and cheese, Wednesday is tuna fish and gluten-free crackers. Then back to Thursday is again the diet-free mac and cheese, and then Friday we end with another veggie burger. They get their So Delicious yogurts, they get their gluten, dairy, soy-free pretzels or crackers or their freeze-dried fruit, their granola bars that they can have. So, I mean, this question is easier to answer now because there's just so many things available for us now. And I'm so thankful for that. I couldn't imagine doing this 10 years ago. But I don't struggle with it anymore because I know my way around it so well at this point. And the kids, I know what they like. They know what they like. Today we made stuffed peppers and we did the vegan Mayoko mozzarella cheese, which is phenomenal. And, you know, I don't tell them they're having cheese. I say it's dairy-free cheese. I got to put in their head that cheese isn't just cheese. Like I don't miss a beat with that. Like, you're having dairy-free pizza, you're having dairy-free ice cream. Like, I have to make sure that I say in front of it, especially because of the galactosemia, that it's dairy-free and drill it into their heads so that if somebody offers them ice cream, they know to ask, is this dairy-free ice cream because I'm dairy-free? Is this dairy-free cheese because I'm dairy-free? And so far, at least with my oldest, my youngest is still a little young for this, it's been working. They, you know, and the teachers, they'll message me and they'll say, hey, it's so-and-so's birthday on Friday. They're bringing in cupcakes. Make sure you pack your kid a special snack. So I have cookies. I have cupcakes. I have ice pops for ice pop day. And because I don't let them have any artificial coloring either. They are all organic. They don't have any pesticides, no GMOs. No artificial flavoring. It's 100% all natural ingredients all the time. And getting back to your COVID question, I forgot to add in that I am so trusting of their immunity. My kids get a vitamin D in the morning and a probiotic in the morning every single morning, and vitamin C raw. It's raw. And then they have their berries and they have everything I cook is usually, if it says add water, add stock, or add broth, I add my bone broth to it. So they have bone broth every day. They have vegetables every day. They've never, knock on wood, my youngest has never missed a day of preschool sick. And my oldest in her 4 years of preschool has only missed maybe 1 or 2 days. They don't get sick. The doctor never sees them. And it makes me feel more confident with this virus because of their diet, the clean eating, the amount of immunity they have built up, the vitamins that they take. I've just been so impressed, whereas all my friends who maybe don't follow such a strict a healthy diet, their kids are getting sick every 6 weeks on average. I don't have that. And I must say that I definitely give it to the diet for that. I definitely blame the diet for their strong immunity, and hopefully whatever comes our way with this current situation, our bodies will be able to fight because of how healthy of a lifestyle that we live.
Yeah, I think, I don't have children yet, but I think the main takeaway from what Lauren was saying was the fact of, for kids, they want what they want, and their friends are going to be eating all of these different foods. And the idea is to give them the necessary replacements for that. You can make them chicken fingers. You can make them pizza. You can, just using all of the replacement ingredients.
You can't slip, because once you drive through that McDonald's, my kids don't even know what McDonald's is, by the way, but once you drive through that McDonald's that first time, then you broke that seal, and the kids know what McDonald's is, knows what it tastes like. And the thing is, you have to start as young as possible, if not immediately from birth, in this way, because it's very hard to change a child's ways. So my child just doesn't know from it, because from the minute they were able to eat solid foods, this has always just been the way. And I can't imagine somebody who has a 5-6-year-old and first getting this doctor recommendation or first deciding to do this diet. It's probably a lot harder. The kids' taste buds are very different. But my kids, they eat their sushi, they eat their oxtail, they eat whatever I make them. They don't have a choice.
That I just want to point out for parents that are struggling with this is, we have so many parents just like you that are posting on our group and that are really struggling, and they've learned so much and they're ready and willing to share the wealth and to provide the support. So, if you are going through this, we commend you. We know that it's not easy, and we are here to support you. So look us up on Facebook at the Gluten, Dairy, and Soy-Free Recipe Sharing and Support Group. We have about 12,000 members right now. Please join, share what's going on for you. Our members live to provide the support, and everybody is, for the most part kind, and we moderate when they're not. And, there's so many recipes, and there's so much love and support in this group. So if you are going through that, know that there is support out there for you.
Well, ladies, you have been such a remarkable guest today on the show. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. We have over 3 years of running this group and everything. We have so much to say, so I'm sorry. I know we totally talked quite a bit here, but we appreciate you giving us the platform and for inviting us on today.
I appreciate you for coming and for taking the time out to be on the podcast.
And you're giving our members an opportunity to get to know us. And for that, I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, I want to take this time to ask you one last question. And this is the opportunity where you can tell your listeners, where can they find you on social media?
Yes. So we are our biggest thing that has the most members right now is our Facebook page, which is called Gluten, Dairy, and Soy-Free Recipe Sharing and Support. It is led by Sisters Eat Freely. So if you look up Sisters Eat Freely, you'll be able to find the sister group, which is the one where we have our most members, which is now over 12,000. They are very interactive. We would not be here without our members. You guys are all so amazing. For those who are listening, we could not be more grateful for what you've taught us and how you help each other. And some of the stories and the things that we've seen people go through are just absolutely mind-blowing. And we are just so blessed to even, be a part of this. And
so you can follow us on Instagram also as well. We post pictures of our meals that we think are Instagram appropriate and Instagram worthy, as they say.
Yeah, I'm not as good at plating as my sister is, so you can tell which pictures are mine and which are hers very easily.
Yeah. Steph has taught me so much about plating.
Yeah, and then we also have our, for anybody that doesn't want the support and interactive piece, we do also just have our Pinterest where we have logged absolutely all of the recipes, and that is also under Sisters Eat Freely. So you can just access that and get all of the recipes that our members post.
And the fact of the matter is, I think that's the most valuable thing that we offer, but it's something that's not being utilized enough. So if you're members and you're listening, get those recipes off our Pinterest. I think we're going up towards 900 members on our Pinterest, whereas we have 12,000 members, and we are constantly advertising our Pinterest just because it's just the collection of every recipe that's ever been posted. So,
I'll sit there with 5 different ingredients and I'm like, what do I make tonight? And I go to the Pinterest page and there is always something.
Yeah, we have a bread section. We have a soup section, a salad section, a seasoning section, a vegan section, a paleo section, an Instapot section.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but for that support piece, and I do definitely recommend joining our Facebook group, because that support has not only helped our members, but helped us, me personally, immensely, more than people will ever even know. And that support piece is so helpful when you're feeling very overwhelmed and you want people who understand what you're going through. So please, by all means, don't be afraid to come and to post. And, me and my sister do everything in our power to make sure that you only get positive and helpful responses.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming today. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and to share your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having us, Nicole, and good luck with your podcast. We hope to
Good
work with you
luck.
again in the future.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
I enjoy
ladies.
your
Thank you.
podcast very much, and I'm so honored to be a guest on it. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you so much for the valuable advice that you have given on the podcast so far.
Yes, thank you. And hopefully we'll have a blog and YouTube channel in the works in the future. But for now, come join us on the group.
I am on the group already.
Yes, definitely.
Take care, ladies.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that's the end of today's episode. But wait. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Insightful Nutrition Podcast. If you like the show, be sure to not forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcast. This will help listeners like you to find and share the show with your friends and family. Allow the show to become more searchable and help with Apple Podcast rankings. I appreciate you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye-bye for now.